Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Not too long ago, I made a video detailing a completely broken speedrun for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, and seems like a lot of you really enjoyed it, so I want to try a new series on my channel detailing games that can be speedrun in around 15 minutes or less. As such, today we'll be looking at Hello Neighbour, a hella janky and glitchy game that results in some pretty wild speedrun tricks, which have resulted in the current world record being well under 10 minutes. And with all of that said, smash like if you would break into this idiot's house. Let's see how this game was beaten in less than 8 minutes. Alright, so first up we'll go over the standard speedrun route for this game, and then we'll check out some advanced tricks that were used to bring the world record time to where it is. Time for this speedrun starts in the first act of this game as soon as we begin chasing our ball down the street here. Now, running on the street like this is a pretty dangerous thing to do, especially considering how fast the cars are driving in the distance, but it pales in comparison to basically everything else in this game. Then, once we get close to the house here, a cutscene starts in which this guy straight up kidnaps you and locks you up in his basement for setting foot on his property. Yeah, it's a bit extreme, but we're speedrunning here, so yeah, story context just slows us down, so let's skip the cutscene. Now, when playing this game normally, we'd have to go inside and do a bunch of stuff, but nah, let's just use this garbage can and lid, jump up this shelf, place the can like so, and then jump on the roof here. A typical thing to do on your neighbor's property. Once up here, you have to get as close to the edge here, find a good angle, and then sprint jump towards the satellite dish, and then move right to just barely make it to the side of the house here, which you can thankfully somehow walk on. Yeah, like I said, this game is pretty janky. This jump is really precise. It took me quite a while to get the hang of it, but once you do, it's not all too bad. Anyways, once on the side here, you can go up to the window, break it with the garbage can lid, hop on in, and now you're officially a felon. Once inside, you just grab the key here, jump on back out of the window you just came through, open a few doors, and then you can use that key you swiped to move on to the basement section of this act. Here, we run down the stairs, grab a few boxes, open the washing machine that for whatever reason leads to another room. Then you can notice that this window looks a bit different than the others, so you can grab the lit screen to jump on through, rush through this door and this hallway all the way till you get to this room where you can flip the switch here. Once flipped, the next objective is to get to the other side of this fence to turn on that generator there. Several tutorials and speedruns I watched had the player jumping up on this wiring here to get across, but no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't seem to get onto it, and it didn't even seem like it had any collision at all. Well, this is where I found out that the developers actually patched this exploit out in an update to the game. Not only did they seemingly remove collision for the wiring, but it looks like they actually changed the fence so it extends all the way to the ceiling here. Now, I don't really like when devs patch out cool speedrun tricks like this, as it wasn't hurting anyone or destroying the integrity of the game, as I'm sure only like less than 1% of players ever ended up using this trick, but I digress. There are still other tricks you can do to get to the generator faster, like using the screen thing to make a ramp here, but it's incredibly finicky. So I found out the hard way that if you want to speedrun this game properly, you basically have to do it on an older version. So on that note, now in the older pre-patch version, we can Minecraft stack these boxes to get up to the wire, jump over the fence, turn on the generator, hop on up this furniture in the corner to go back to the previous room to open this door, and just like that, we have our first chase sequence in this creepy hallway. Here you just have to run away, and once you get to this door, since we don't have any keys to open it, you can just chill for a few seconds or run back until the neighbor yanks you once again. And this time, this is actually supposed to happen, as this brings us to the end of Act 1 in only a few minutes. And if you thought that was quick, just wait until you see Act 2 here. After waiting a few seconds in the room you spawn in, you can open this door, go through this vent, much like we saw in Security Breach, climb up this ladder, and then you're back outside. Once out, after seeing the massive fence the neighbor has constructed, you gotta grab 3 boxes as well as this crate thing, climb this ladder, Minecraft stack those boxes as close to the corner as you can, and yep, next you gotta make a death-defying jump all the way across over this barricade. This is actually another thing the developers tried to patch, as they added a fence above here to make it more difficult to cheese this section. Now, I say they tried to patch it because I was able to still do it on my first try with the fence there, but yeah, I guess it's just a deterrent. Anyways, once you make it over the barrier, you can fall onto this incredibly conveniently placed trampoline to bounce over the fence to freedom. And I'm sure several broken bones and one hell of an expensive hospital bill. And yep, that's all there is to Act 2 in the speedrun here, so onwards we go to Act 3. Once Act 3 starts, normally you have to wait for a letter to come in the mail, but I guess there was still some coding for interacting with it before it even gets there, as if you interact where the letter will eventually land, you can actually just grab it right away. This was another thing that was patched out in future updates to this game, and this one I can kind of understand. Then, after skipping the next cutscene, you can open up the hatchback to this car here to get a key, because yeah, that's where people keep their keys. Then you can use that key to open up this door, and then simply wait for a scam caller to call you on this phone asking you for some Google Play gift cards. We then get taken to the next segment, where once again we have to do a little breaking and entering. Once outside, you have to look around for any 2 items, then to distract the neighbor, we have to break this here window with one of those items. I'm sure this is justified, right? Then we hop on in through this window, go through the house a bit, and then wait behind this wall until you hear a distinct from the neighbor. And this is him placing down this bear trap that's crucial to the next step here. Using the other item you grabbed, you can deactivate this trap, pick it up, and then hop over to this door here. Now next up is a crazy little trap trick that's super easy to do. Simply by placing down the bear trap close to the door and then purposefully getting yourself trapped, you can actually clip right through the door into the trigger for loading the next segment. This exploit is pretty busted, so I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear that this looks to be another thing that was patched out of the game. Anyways, next up here we get to, I guess, relive some of the protagonist's trauma in his school days, as this place has various desks, lockers, and creepy hall monitor mannequin things all over the place. This area sucks, as it's extremely luck-based, and although the goal is simply to get to the other side of the hall, the movement of the mannequins is very erratic, and when the others stop, one will start to glow and will hunt you down if you're close enough, simply because you forgot to bring your hall pass to your own dream. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had dreams about walking through our school hallways, right? Anyways, to be safe, basically whenever the bell rings and most of the mannequins stop, you have to quickly make your way into one of these lockers. It costs precious time, but hey, it's certainly better than getting caught and losing even more time. Then, once you get to the end of this hallway, you're introduced to the granddaddy of the mannequins, or as I like to call him, Manny. It turns out that big bad Manny over here isn't actually all that tough, as you can defeat him with just a simple shove. Okay, see ya. Then, after completing that hallucination, I guess, we're back at the neighbor's house where we placed the trap. Once back, grab the trap once again, as we'll need to perform another trap trick right away here. After breaking a few more windows, you can get to this room, and then you can slap the trap down for another trap trick into this wall. And wouldn't you know, this actually takes us right into another loading area. Next, we are back in the basement, where things aren't looking too hot this time, surprisingly even worse than before. We gotta grab another light panel thing, throw it near this wall to have it glitch around and make an amazing sound for your ears. Then you can simply jump on the back of the panel here to jump up onto this fence that spawns to avoid some dangerous apparition thing. And once it passes, to end this act, we can rush over back to the room we saw in Act 1. Then you just gotta find another way to get over the fence again to make it to this nicely lit door with an exit sign. Ah, surely freedom at last. Or not, as once again we get hi diddly ho neighborinoed. But thankfully we hallucinated about standing up for ourselves in school or something, so we can also stand up to the current bully here and give him the same shove to break free and then lock the door behind us. And this time in this hallway we saw back in Act 1, the locks are all gone on this door, so we can finally see just what's behind the door here. Yeah, that's it. And now starts the final act, which I think is super cool, as you essentially either shrink down or everything else is enlarged around you. Massive chairs, boxes, a big toaster, and of course the neighbor is massive now too. Then, right after the neighbor smashes the room you're in, you can use a basketball to snipe a shot from downtown to flick the switch here to turn on this toaster. Then at the toaster, since the hitboxes here are pretty scuffed, if you jump near the right of the button you press to toast, it can actually be used to fling you way up high. And while flying, you want to aim towards one of these shelves, which conveniently has an umbrella sized just for us. With this umbrella in hand, we can Mary Poppins our way back to the toaster, and then you can either fall inside of it or again near the push down button to again fling yourself up. And now that we have the umbrella, we can once again use it to glide, this time right to the house on the neighbor's back. Basically skipping this entire segment in less than a minute if you can manage to do all of this right on the first try. The neighbor likes to move around a lot, so here just be extra careful to not miss the landing to the door, otherwise you have to waste time to go all the way back to the toaster and try again. And now on to, I guess, the climax of the game, where we get to once again relive more childhood trauma as we get to see a younger version of the protagonist we're playing as. There's not really any more speedrun tricks in this segment. You basically just have to protect younger you from the phantom neighbor at the windows, and each time you do, you grow for some reason. I guess this was symbolizing you growing and overcoming your trauma or something. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you basically just do this a few more times until the house crumbles, the phantom goes boom, and we can finally reach the true exit to this nightmare. Yeah, that's all it was apparently, just a nightmare. Okay. And just like that, yeah, we're done the entire game. Now, I myself tried the speedrun on my first day playing this game and was able to get a rather unremarkable time of about an hour. But then the next day, I was able to cut it down to just 30 minutes and could now probably cut it down even more if it wasn't for this stupid school segment, which cost me a lot of time. Also, the time for the speedrun doesn't include load time, so it's probably closer to like 25 minutes. Now, 25 minutes isn't too shabby at all, but it isn't quite less than 8 minutes like the top 3 places have. So now let's take a look at what you can do to beat this game faster than the length of this video. So as I make this video, the current world record is held by Big Boy with a crazy time of 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, immediately, the biggest difference with this run I noticed is the use of some sort of trick where you can like put an item down and then quickly jump off of it to build up some crazy height and speed. Then, similar to the trap trick I guess, Big Boy was able to use a TV in front of this door here to clip right through it and completely skip having to get up onto the roof, make the jump to the key, and all of that, and this actually saves a decent amount of time. Like, he was done this intro section in less than 20 seconds. Then, more time was saved in the basement as the item jump boost thing can apparently be used to quickly clear this jump over the fence. Now, he makes it look easy here, but I tried to do this trick for quite a while, and let me tell you, it certainly demands a lot of practice to get it consistent. And if you thought that was impressive, in Act 2, he was able to skip all of the cardboard box stacking and ladder climbing by doing an incredibly high jump boost off of one of the boxes. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was honestly at a loss for words when I first saw this. Then, after getting some good RNG in the school segment and breezing through the second basement bit, we're back to being tiny here again. Here, the need to go back down to the toaster was actually skipped by doing another jump boost, and he was able to jump from the umbrella area all the way to the house in a single jump, saving even more time. Stringing all of these advanced tricks together and having some good RNG put Big Boy on world record pace here, and to say he was excited would be an understatement.
Oh my god!
And since the rest of the run here is pretty consistent, the record was pretty much guaranteed. So after defending Protag Jr. here for a bit, Big Boy was able to secure the world record with quite the impressive time. Although several of these exploits have been patched, like I swear the developers just watched some old speedrun guides to see what to fix, the game was once incredibly jank, but I think in a good way. By default, the game encourages you to try new and different ways to accomplish your objective, and that, coupled with how glitchy things are, it was only a matter of time before crazy exploits were found. But wow, less than 8 minutes to beat this game, that's pretty wild. If you'd like to get into speedrunning this game yourself, I'll leave a link to the speedrunning Discord in the description. The fellas there are super helpful and can certainly help you get started. Anyways, that's Hello Neighbor. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other speedrun videos I've made, and hey, if you have any suggestions for other speedruns to check out, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And as always, I will see you in a bit.